everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And boy, oh boy, Mott, get the whole panoramic view. It has been a long time. First person to put in the comments the last time we were on the Thunder Couch gets a crap load of free swag. So, we are on the laid-back Friday couch. It is Friday, kind of. And I will start with my Jets prediction. Jets play the Jags. The Jags, you know, are an interesting team. They remind me of us a little bit in a lot of ways. Pretty inconsistent this year. But I'm going to have to say I'm going to pick the Jets this week because I have to. Because if they lose this week, the season's over. Fundamentally, we are not a playoff team if we lose this week, which would be devastating for me and would make November and December very difficult. So I'm going to go 19-13 Jets. I don't know how we got to 19, but probably Rex is going to go for 2 again for no reason. So I'm going to go 19-13 Jets, and they better win, because if they don't, what's that? We're home. That doesn't mean anything. We lost the Bills and the Dolphins. Dolphins stink, by the way. I just want everybody to know they're not a good team. I know they're 2-0. I'll give them their credit. They won. They're 2-0. They're not a good football team, which means we're, you know. Anyway, so we've been very good traditionally off buys too, so I'm excited about that. So what I'm also excited about is that, boys and girls, we are going to be talking about, without a doubt, the hottest category of wines in the wine world right this minute, the 2007 Chateauneuf-du-Pape. If you are collecting wine in any shape or form, if 2007 means anything to you as an anniversary or a birthday or birth of a child or whatever it may be, then I highly recommend, and this is why they get exciting, these wines are both under $40 a bottle. Yes, they can get into the $60, $70, $80, $100 range for some of the reserve, single vineyard, high-end stuff, but dollar for dollar, Chateauneuf-du-Pape still commands really good value in very spectacular years. This is the most exciting vintage since 1998 for sure. You might have to go back to 90 to get even that excited. This is 89. These are some really special wines. The 2007 vintage, forget 05, you know, forget 01. This is one of the best vintages in the last decade for sure. What did you hear, Matt? Something on the roof? Oh, got it. And I'm very, very excited about this vintage. And clearly, what Robert Parker did just a week or two ago by scoring these wines through the roof, not hundreds, 99s, 98s. This vintage is now easily cemented as the hot thing of this year. And so if you're a wine snob or a wine collector or wine connoisseur or wine enthusiast or wine whatever, you want to get into it, 07 and Chateauneuf-du-Pape is where it's at. Chateauneuf-du-Pape, you know, it's just amazing wines, you know, just classic wines from the southern Rhone region in France. Very heavily Grenache-based wines. I think Grenache is massively underrated as a varietal, and I'm very excited about trying these two wines. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the Domaine Roquepin Chateauneuf-du-Pape 2007. This wine is 65% Grenache, 35% of which are an aged barrel, a new oaked aged barrel, 65% Grenache, 35% Syrah mixed with Mourvedre blended, and so predominantly Grenache. And Domaine is a very good producer. It's 91 points Parker. It's not one of the great, it's not Beaucastel or Vieux Telegraph or Marcot or, you know, one of these insane producers, but it is a consistently special and solid, not special, solid to above solid, like, you know, cusp of all-star level producer. At 36 bones, a very fair price for the quality coming out of this vintage. Great color, again, predominantly Grenache. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Very intriguing nose, almost like a little bit like a food, like a hammy kind of component, which I like. Very fruit-driven, strawberries coming through on the tail end of the nose. But kind of aromatically, you know, challenged. Now, of course, 07 is such a young vintage, so it's a little tough to get everything. There's a little black pepper coming through on the nose as well. Let's give it a whirl. Hey Murph, take a seat.
Oh boy.
On the Thunder Show. Kay Murph making her second ever appearance.
Hi guys. Yeah.
Are you saying that I have the club wines?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? How was the travel?
Travel's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is the it's a
It's
very
laid
famous.
back.
She knows
Laid
it.
back Friday.
She knows it. You have anything to say? What 07 Chateauneuf-du-Pape.
Love them.
Are people bothering you? Are people emailing? Is there hype? What's going on?
They're really throttling Brandon
Yeah.
to try and find them.
The hardcore
So,
ones.
yeah, really intense. But, yeah, I just actually did a pouring of 07s last week.
And?
We had it in store. Awesome.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, showing in a bottle. I didn't decant it all. It just kind of went. And it was showing seamlessly.
And what's going on with Cinderella? K. Murph is holding down Cinderella wine for us a little bit.
Yeah.
Insane last night.
Oh my god.
I mean
crazy.
last Friday.
Yeah, last Friday.
Right. And?
I was like, it's 9 o'clock, I'll just make sure everything's going. The monster stayed. So,
thank you.
yes,
And?
thank you. I thought I was going to go read afterwards, but not so much. I was reading comments all night, so thanks everyone, because that was a lot of fun.
Sure was. Thanks for stopping by. I got it. I'm
no
good.
problem.
Good.
Awesome.
I'll see you downstairs.
Awesome, dude, yeah.
So, K. Murph, thank you for stopping by. And let's get back into the Domaine Lafon. Good fruit, a little bit of strawberry coming through. Some nice pepper flavors coming through. Very focused wine. Very round. Very well made. This is a pretty rose petal kind of flavor that I like on the back end. Just a smooth wine, I guess is what I would say. It's a very smooth effort. And it's just extremely well made. So good structure, good intense fruit, well made, and showing quite well. Let me give it one more shot. You can see I like it. One more shot. One more shot. There's a very fascinating dichotomy of strawberry meets raspberry flavors here. Almost like they cloned and mutated the two fruits and would call they'd call it strasberry. That's what this would taste like, with a little hint of black pepper. Well made, intriguing wine. I'll go 91 points as well in this. I like it a lot, and just a great example of, and I think K. Murph kind of hit on it. She didn't decant, and it was showing well. I agree. The tannins are firm and the backbone is structured, and it definitely gives you kind of a grip on the back end that says, hey, I'm not a youngster, but it's kind of like, LeBron. LeBron as a sophomore in high school, he was going to beat you in basketball. This wine is young and, and definitely has more potential, but it's not a pushover right now, and it is approachable, and it's really well made, and I like that. Let's move on. Domaine Paul Autard, one of the producers I've supported for a long time, a big fan, started buying this wine in the 95 vintage. I'm getting old. The 2007 is here, 93-point Spectator, and this is predominantly Grenache. There is some Syrah and so, and there's a little Counois, which is always fun. Varietal I like quite a bit. 93-point Spectator, $33 US, Mott, 33. Patrick Ewing. I know he didn't win a ring, but honestly, and I love John Starks. Show John Starks right up there. I love Starkey, but with all due respect to Starks and Charles Smith and Mace, Derek Harper and Rolando Blackman, those guys, two guys were a little bit older. The guy never had the support system, Mott. He didn't have the people around him. I understand he didn't win and all that, but he's an all-time great player. He's underrated, just saying. All right, really, really good color. Sniffy sniff time. It's a little bit of a bigger nose, a little bit darker as well. I do still get that raspberry cherry flavor, strawberry flavor. This is a little bit tighter on the nose, but it kind of comes across a little darker and a little meaner. Like Mace. Anthony Mason was tough. Let's give it a whirl. This is really good. This is a really, really good vintage. If you are not aware of the complexity and flavor profile of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, I highly recommend you go out and find some 2007s. This has firmer, tighter tannins. This will last 12 to 15 to 20 years, whereas the last wine was more of a 8 to 12 year wine. This needs a roast, a big steak, a big meal, because it's a very tannic, tight, structured wine. I would almost say that this wine shouldn't even be approached within the first 3 to 4 years and should just be put in your cellar. It's a well-made wine with gorgeous, gorgeous backbone. You know, it has its stuff together. You know, when you just see somebody like, you know, here's this beep together, you know, that kind of thing. That's this wine. It has its beep together. I'm going to go, you know, I'm very much a pushover today on the Thunder Show. I don't know if the Friday Couch, I agreed with Parker 91. I'm agreeing with Spectator 93. I feel like a little bit of a pushover, a little fanboy action, but, you know, they did a great job. I agree with them. This is a 93-point wine, and at $33, it needs to be debated that, you know, you need to have this part of your repertoire. I mean, this is very good wine. I think 07, Mott, to be very blunt with you, I think you and I and Lorenzo could have made good, you know, Châteauneuf-du-Pape in 07, and none of us are winemakers. So kudos to the vintage and to the Southern Rhone, which even with all the great work Parker's done to give it exposure, still tends to be underrated and underpriced. These wines, and even in today's market, when wine prices have come down a little bit, are still value-driven, under 40 bones, from a fantastic, world-class, you know, once in, you know, probably 5 times in a 100-year kind of vintage, 10 times in a 100-year kind of vintage, special, 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 special juice. I love it. I need it. I want to drink it. I want to eat it. I like it. Brandon just walked in, but it doesn't. Brandon, it doesn't distract me. I'm a very focused individual, like the 2007 Chateauneuf-du-Pape are. Kudos to Paul Autard. Question of the day. Let's do a little bit of like a football fantasy pool. Anybody who can predict the game with the actual score wins something epic, Mott. Let's do a trip to New York, and you could be on the Thunder Show and my guest. Pick a football game, a National Football League game, and pick the score. You got to get the score right, but if you do, flying you to New York, putting you up in a hotel, and you get to be my guest on the Laid Back Friday Couch. Step up, pass it on, lurkers. It's time to come out. You, with a little bit of me, and 07 Rhones, changing the wine world.